Hi! One of the wheels of my chair fell off, and now I hate how unbalanced it is. Ugh, I hate it. But we're gonna continue, so we're continuing Andromeda 6. If you missed any of the previous episodes, here is the playlist somewhere on the screen. I start to smile before my face falls abruptly. There's something else that's still nipping at the back of my mind. June, can I ask you something? Of course. He looks at me and I hesitate, afraid of the answer I might get to the question I'm about to ask. Does it still bother you that I'm a Pegasi? His eyebrows dip and I can see that it hasn't exactly surprised him that I've asked the question. He exhales sharply, and when he takes my hand in his, I look up to find myself falling into eyes that shine with regret. It doesn't bother me. I'm sorry for the things I've said in the past, for the way I've made you feel. I want you to know that, Kiki, it really truly doesn't mean a thing to me. He smiles at me and I relax. I can tell that he's telling me the truth. June tucks a stray strand of hair behind my ear, his fingers lingering on the side of my face. There is something else I want you to know. You are smart, kind, and you've put up with a lot more from me than you deserve. I swallow thickly, and I glance down at our clasped hands, an array of emotions coursing through me, one of them stronger than all the rest. I have to admit, June, that on Orion, I was terrified. Seeing what you went through, how much it destroyed you, it broke my heart. I take in a deep breath, hoping it might help to steady my trembling hands, my thundering heart. What I'm trying to say is, I don't think I would have felt that way if I didn't care about you as much as I do. June lets out a slow breath, his grip on me tightening. Since we're being honest, I felt the same way when I found you hanging over that pit. But we got through it, and I couldn't be more thankful to have you by my side. We can lay down together, don't kiss, or lean closer, kiss. Let's just kiss him, that's fine. So warmth blossoms in my chest, sparks igniting as I lean in close, our lips brushing together like satin and silk. Okay, June smiles against my mouth as he leans into the kiss, his hand moving to cradle the side of my face, right before he pulls back an inch. He says, I've been dying to kiss you again. I want to do it right now that we have the time. His breath is warm on my lips, his eyes shining in a way I've never seen before. What are you waiting for? That's cute. So he grins and pulls me down beside him on the bed. Hold up. Wait a minute. His lips capturing mine as his arms slip around me and he pulls me close. And it feels like nothing I've ever felt before. His warmth, his touch. The smell of his freshly washed clothes, of the scent of cologne, is dizzying. My eyes close and time wavers, each second measured only by the tick of my beating heart. There's no hesitance between us, not now that we know how close we were to losing each other, how desperate we are to keep each other close. I'm really glad I met you, Kiki. I'm glad I met you too. Okay, so he kisses me again and I breathe all of him in. His scent, his taste, the warmth of his long legs as they tangle through mine. June and I spend the rest of the evening together chatting, kissing, and learning what it feels like to be in each other's company. While I can't deny that there's some part of me that's scared at the prospect of a relationship like this, there's a bigger part of me, one that is so blissfully happy that trumps all others. Oh, okay, that's sweet. That's like a sweet... Oh, that's really wonderful. I expected something a little bit spicier there, but I'm glad that we did not have it because it's a little bit too soon, too early in this relationship, I think. Although, sometimes it's never too early, you know what I mean? So the next day, I find myself thrown back to reality, and when reality comes calling, duty swiftly follows. After refueling the ship and departing from Chrono, we set a course towards Telaran. The passage between the space station and Telaran gave us no trouble, and the Telari patrolling the outer sectors of the planet leave us to pass in peace. As we approach, I feel a sense of anticipation building within me. We're almost there. Ayame says, Everyone get to the bridge and buckle up, we're heading into orbit. I hear the excitement in Aya's voice and chuckle to myself. I can't blame her for the enthusiasm. Unlike our visits to Cursa and Orion, where tension dripped from us as thick as honey, this feels different somehow. There are still a lot of questions to be answered, but the one thing we do know is that if our friends are already here, it's likely we're not about to launch ourselves headfirst into trouble. Alright, so it is a little bit exciting. So following Aya's instructions, I head to the bridge and take my seat at the navigation station. Peering out the front window towards the massive blue and green in front of us. The planet is beautiful. From this distance, it doesn't look all that different to Orion, but the landscape seems deeper, richer. And then there are the rings that surround the planet. As we approach, I get a clearer look at them, picking out the individual rocks and debris that encircle Telaran. They almost look like a shield, some kind of cosmic protection to ward off would-be intruders. After all this time, I didn't think I'd be so happy to see home. A soft voice distracts me, and I turn to find Rayona standing nearby, her piercing yellow eyes drinking in the sight of her home planet. Hi, Rayona. Are you excited to be going back? It's very complicated. When I left, it wasn't on the best terms. I don't expect that this will be very pleasant for me. Ooh. I understand. I was often at odds with my family too. It tends to make things awkward, to say the least. Rayona slaps a hand at her mouth abruptly, her eyes widening and shining with guilt. I'm so sorry, Kiki. I have no right to complain about these things to you, not when you have lost so much. It's fine. Your concerns are no less valid. I can imagine how hard this must be for you. Thank you for understanding, Kiki. Okay, and Damon, Alyssa calls, she says, to land somewhere called the Isil Spire. The Isil Spire? Okay. The stomp of Damon's boots interrupts us as he enters the bridge and puts himself between us. Wherever that is. The Isil Spire is the main hub on the planet. Our friends should all be there, as well as... She trails off, a strange look coming over her. Calderon says, Rayona, will you show us where to go? Rayona nods quietly, takes the co-pilot seat while Calderon and Damon strap themselves into seats at the back with the rest of us. Alright, so we're going in. And I sit back and admire the view as Ayame guides us towards Telaran. It's difficult to not be intrigued by the planet when so few outside the Telari species have visited it. It's almost embarrassing to think that though I'm half Telari myself, I've never had the chance to visit. I wonder how I'll feel to be on my mother's home planet. Will the culture and customs feel familiar to me, or will it all be just as foreign as I've imagined it to be? Though I'm nervous to find out what awaits us, there is something else that buzzes along my skin at the prospect, a kind of anticipation. Watch out for the rings, Calderon says. I'm not blind, and they're like impossible to hit. At least when you're as good as I am. Oh, I like her little smirk there. Yeah, well, whatever. I can see from back here. I can't see from back here, sorry. Look at his face. So shut up and enjoy the ride. Alright. Ayame whoops out loud as she launches the ship forward, sending us rocketing towards the planet. Man, I bet it must be really fun, like, riding in a spaceship like this. I don't know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan too, and Star Trek as well, so just imagining like being on a spaceship is so fun. So as we approach, the landscape becomes clearer, blobs of blue and green shifting into lakes, waterfalls, and sprawling fields. Down there, to the east, that is the Isil Spire, Rayona says. As we descend, Rayona points to an enormous silver tower, so tall the top of it disappears into the clouds. A couple of the crew gasp at the sight, myself the loudest. It's huge, Bash says. Well, that's what she said. Yes, it houses the equivalent of a large city. Hospitals, schools, homes, anything you could possibly need. This particular spire is also the home of the Council of Eons. What is that? I recall overhearing that the leader of the council is Rayona's father, but I can't quite remember his name. Before he came into the role, belonged to Isla Aubrey, my grandmother. She died a little over a year ago. I never had the chance to meet her, but my mother was deeply affected by the loss. And know that Rayona and her father don't get along, but there's a small part of me that is excited to meet them. Okay, so we're here. Everyone prepare yourselves for landing. Oh, time to buckle up. So Ayami guides the ship towards the spire with no issues and sets us down smoothly on the landing pad. After landing, we unbuckle ourselves and get ready to leave the ship, excitement buzzing through the crew as we speculate what we'll find there. Okay, ooh, we're getting a new scene. Holy hell, this is actually really exciting. Like we're seeing like the beautiful waterfalls. I like the palette. It's like nature green, and then there is a little bit of a light blue color. So I really like the way that it looks. Just there's a little bonsai tree here on the bottom right. I love it. It looks really peaceful. So we exit onto the landing pad to be greeted by a host of Telari who approach us warmly, welcoming us to their planet. I watch them in awe, noting how gracefully they hold themselves, how beautiful and fine their clothing is. Calderon takes the lead as we follow them, with Ayame and Damon close behind. Rayona hangs back, and it's only now that I notice more than a few of our Tellarian escort throwing her subtle but curious looks. When we reach the large doors of the building, we find a man waiting for us with pale, silver hair and deep blue skin. There's something about him that seems instantly familiar to me, and I know at once who this man must be. Oh, look at him. Welcome to Tellarian. My name is Eldred Mihayden. Oh, isn't Rayona Mihayden? That's her dad, right? So I squint at Eldred, picking out the similarities between him and his daughter. There we go. There's no denying it, he is Rayona's father. I'm glad to see you've made it here safely. We were worried that the Chimeri would try to stop you on Orion. Which they did. They certainly tried their best, but we managed to break away and get here in one piece. Eldred nods in understanding, his calm exterior showing no hint of any underlying emotion. So, what's all this about? Why did you summon us here? Though he stands perfectly still, Eldred's eyes dart between the crew, stopping only when they land on Rayona. It would be easier to show you. Footsteps echo from behind Eldred, and a figure appears at his side, one I can hardly believe I'm seeing. Who is that? I step forward, my eyes wide and my hands trembling at my sides. This can't be real. I'm asleep. I must be. I'm back on the ship in my bed, and this is a dream. Because nothing else can explain what I'm seeing, not when she's supposed to be... Nerissa! Oh, hello, little one! Wait, that's Nerissa? That's our sister! I've been waiting for you. Nerissa! Oh my god! Oh, look at it! That's such a beautiful shot! I like her character design. I don't think she looks anything like I would have imagined her to look like. But still, I like the gloves and like adventurous outfit. I really like it. She looks like Lara Croft a little bit. So, I thought I had come to terms with my sister's death, but seeing her now in front of me, very much alive, has me crumbling into dust. I meet her outstretched arms with my own, failing to hold back the torrent of emotions that are building within me. How? I try to speak, but the words are all a jumble in my head, a barrage of questions fighting to break through. How long have you been here? Since the coup. We escaped and have been here ever since. It's alright, Kiki. Just breathe. I'm here. We have time. Oh man, that's really... I did not imagine her to look like this at all, but she's really beautiful. So she pulls back from me, holding me at arm's length as she looks me over and smiles. You look incredible. So strong. I see now that I didn't have to worry about you. I sniffle a little and smile back at her, still struggling against my complete loss for words. Rissa, I thought you were dead. I almost was. Her voice turns cold, and suddenly she's not looking at me at all. Vex steps forward, his emerald eyes wide and his face pale, staring at the vision of my sister, who I half expect he still considers to be a ghost. I give him space as he drops to his knees at her feet, his head bowed and his tears splattering the toes of her boots. I thought I killed you. I thought... You betrayed us. I did, Vex says. You tried to kill me. Yes. Stand up, Seraph. She commands him, and her voice is so full of authority no one would dare defy her. With a hand on his knee, he pushes himself to his feet, staring down at her with a look so broken it almost cleaves my heart in two. I told you I could have helped you. You should have let me. I wish I did, believe me. I thought I could fix my stupid mistake on my own, and look where it got me. She looks torn between wanting to hug him or crack his skull in half, which understandable. But finally her hands drop to her sides and she lets out a heavy sigh. It wasn't you. It wasn't your fault. Whew, this is heavy stuff. So Vex stares at her as though he can hardly believe the words she's speaking to him. How can you forgive me? The same way I had to forgive myself. I've made mistakes, I was hasty. I put my trust in the wrong people and my family suffered the consequences. You weren't the only one Zovak planted in our home. She shakes her head in disappointment. At herself, or at something else entirely, I'm not so sure. It's lucky my alliance with Telarin stood strong, or I wouldn't be standing in front of you today. I have your mother to thank for that. My mother? She nods, but I'm still not quite sure what she means by that. What does she mean? How could you survive that night? The whole world believes you died on Goldis. My friend, Kyle. Kyle? Is that Kyle or KYL3? I'm not sure, but I'm gonna call him Kyle. So he wasn't there when the massacre began, but he was the one who got me out. The world believes I died because that's the lie that Zovak has been weaving. I was wounded on the brink of death. Kay brought me here and the Telari saved me. The VTB? I should have known. Oh, what is that? Where is Kay? Is he here? Nerissa smiles fondly and gives a short nod of her head. He's training some of the soldiers down on the ground. He'll be back soon. He's been waiting for you too. You knew I'd be here? After Eldred contacted Alyssa and Zane, they told us what happened on Cursa. By the time we found out, you were already on Orion. We did everything we could to ensure you made it back here. I knew you were out there somewhere. I could feel it. Hang on, you mentioned soldiers. What soldiers? We have much to talk about, Nerissa says. Eldred clears his throat softly before he steps forward. I had almost forgotten he was still there, yeah, because he's like so mysterious and ethereal, you know. So he says, I'll leave you in Nerissa's hands, but we will talk again soon. There are also many things we must discuss. Okay. I don't miss the way his eyes linger on Rayona before he turns and leads the group of Telari away. I'm a little surprised he hasn't said a word to her, but if he's anything like his daughter, I expect he's not a fan of bearing his problems in front of others. Which is what Rayona does not like, definitely. And Nerissa says, come with me, I'll show you what we've been working on. Okay, so I walk beside Nerissa as she leads the group, still reeling from the fact that she's here, she's alive. I feel her eyes on me, and when I look at her, she smiles, the sight of it lighting up the entire world. There are a million things I want to ask her, a million questions that are rolling around my mind. My heart has barely stopped banging like a drum since the moment I heard her voice again. We follow Nerissa as she leads us into a large elevator made of glass and reaches out to press a button. A number flashes above the door, illuminated by a white light. 174. We're on the 174th floor? The elevator descends rapidly, my eyes glued to the numbers as they get lower and lower. 133, 96, 58, 34. We start to slow and I feel my stomach lurch, struggling to catch up with the rest of my body as we come to a stop on the first floor and the doors open. So that's like a basement, right? Oh, not a basement, it's still kind of outside, so it's not a basement. So I follow behind Nerissa as she exits the elevator onto a metal platform, looking around in awe at the sheer size of the space we've walked into. This used to be an aircraft hangar. As you can see, we've repurposed it for other needs. As she speaks, I step up to the railing, scanning the space in front of it. Okay, the first thing that catches my eye are the tents. Some of them, I'm guessing they were like around here maybe, because the elevator was here and then we're dropping down on the railings here. So the first thing that catches my eyes are the tents. Some of them are enormous, capable of housing 100 people. Others are smaller with workbenches and crates scattered near the entrances. And then there are the people. Hundreds of them coming and going between tents and stations, chatting in groups, keeping busy at various workstations. Okay, this is amazing. All this time we've been stashed away here, working like a busy little bee, huh? That's right, Nerissa says. Pretty impressive, Queenie. No wonder Alyssa left Cursa for this. You're waging a war on Zovak. Nerissa says, we asked her here. Alyssa and Zane have been invaluable to us. Oppo, too. Oppo! They're there, right? Can we see them? Of course, they're out there somewhere. You're welcome to go and find them. Alright. Oppo is a slave owner, right? I don't like Oppo. As much as Zaya races over to a set of metal stairs, the rest of the crew hot on their heels as they descend onto the ground floor of the hangar. Commander Lynch, Nerissa asks. Nerissa stops Calderon before he can follow after them. He turns towards her with a sheepish look. It's Captain now. I was exiled in case you weren't aware, Your Majesty. Please call me Nerissa. I'm not a queen here. I'm not even a princess. I just wanted to thank you, Captain, for taking care of my sister. I lean against the railing and watch the two of them from the corner of my eye, trying to look as though I'm not eavesdropping, which I definitely am not eavesdropping on this conversation at all. I can't claim I did that good a job of it. Nerissa smiles at him kindly, gesturing in my direction. You got her here in one piece, didn't you? Calderon opens his mouth but says nothing before closing it again. I think it might be the first time I've seen the man speechless. Okay, and he carries on ahead of us, heading to the stairs and descending into the ground floor before we follow, where I finally get the chance to see the action up close. Oh, look at that, there's a lot of people. That's nice. I spot Bash and June at one of the weapons stalls immediately, inspecting a table of guns that the proprietor seems all too happy to show off to them. June, check this one out. I'm looking. Aya and Damon have joined in on a conversation with a group of soldiers, casually chatting with them about the places they've arrived here from. I escaped Orion before they closed the borders, Soldier Delilah says. No one is getting on or off the planet, not legally anyway. Soldier TSS got here a week ago from Cursa. As soon as I heard they were fighting Zovak, I was on the next ship heading this way. I hang back with Nerissa, a little afraid that if I leave her now, it'll all turn out to be some kind of mirage and I'll never see her again. Calderon, Vex, and Rayona are also hanging back, but for different reasons. Vex seems stunned, as though he can hardly believe what he's seeing, and Cal looks impressed. In fact, I think it's the first time I've seen him look like that. Yeah, take a look at him. But my attention is drawn to Rayona. She's a step behind the other two, almost hidden from sight behind Calderon's large frame. I can't quite get a grasp on her expression, but the one thing I can see is that she seems overwhelmed by the whole situation. I hope I'll get a chance to speak with her later to find out if she's doing okay, but right now there's another question at the forefront of my mind. I turn back to Nerissa, finding her smiling as she looks out over the camp, still very much a queen in every other way that counts. Nerissa, who are all these people? They're our people. The ones who won't stand for Jez Zovak and his reign of terror. The ones who will fight with us. I look at my sister, and I know she senses my confusion by the way she lays a hand on my shoulder, her smile as bright as I've ever seen it. We're going to take back our home key, together. Oh, and that is the end of episode 6 now. So that was the end of episode 6. There's a lot of different things happened there right at the end. We saw our sister Nerissa, which we thought she was dead. She thought she was killed by Vex. So it was a huge surprise seeing her. I did not see that coming at all. But we are going to be doing episode 7 in due time. I do have to download it first because I cannot do it right now. I have not installed it yet, and it needs to get installed first. So you guys know how it is already. So what I'm gonna do is start the next video with the start of episode 7, and we're gonna take it from there. Thank you so much for watching. This is a really interesting visual novel. I really love it. So thank you so much, and see you later. Bye bye.